Mhm. Yeah, it was. Oh,
There we go, there we go. Oops. Yeah, that's big to say. It's funny, because I can see it, it's still live.
It's on there, yeah.
So. There should be a, it's like a speaker view. The view, two buttons to the right. Speaker.
Nobody's,
Should pick up ours. Curious.
hey,
Let's see. Got. Yeah, because it was. Yeah, it's recording.
audio's on.
Okay, whatever. It's just. Assuming that for us, I guess.
Good to go?
I think so.
Okay. I'll call to order this regular meeting of County Solid Waste Management District Citizens Advisory Committee. This is the third Thursday of March the 21st. 2024. Yeah. Mr. Chair, please call the roll.
Yes, John Arnold,
Present.
Pat Austin,
President.
Bill Goins, Ed Lucas,
Here.
Paul White,
Here.
Joseph Winia, I'm here. So we are all but one to do the quorum.
Today's agenda was distributed by email and Dropbox on Monday, March 18th, 2024. Are there any objections to adopting the agenda as distributed and shown on the, not the current screen share?
Only one correction already. We're not the waste, we're the waste reduction
Yep.
of
Yeah.
the solid waste district, as you said.
I changed on my scripts.
Yeah. Congratulations, Mr. Chairman.
Hearing none, the agenda is adopted. Change needed to be the vote first. Okay, the minutes for the January 18th, 2020 regular meeting, did not make it to Dropbox or email, so you can't have any corrections. Are there any corrections? I didn't have.
Yeah, that's fine. I don't have one for next time. I'll try to make sure that the one for this meeting are properly done.
That's fine, no worries. Yeah, I'm not blaming you in any way, shape, or form. Reports from officers, district, Senior Tom.
Well, you've got it now, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, let's see, we're still finishing up our new signage, both of them are done, but we do still have a few signs that we're still waiting for the vendors to finish up, so we can get those installed, but the bulk of them are up, had good, positive responses from customers, about that signage. Everybody seems to be pleased with that. And, still, and I guess the district kind of neglected to make any sort of true public official announcement about some of the changes to our collections that we've been doing. So there's still some confusion on that. But we are no longer separating paper in the manner that we used to. So it's all going into mixed paper right now. And us and our vendor, that was just a efficient, cost effective way to manage it. Where things sit with paper markets and their processes right now. Most people have gotten used to the glass no longer being separated, by clear and colored. That seems to be going well. At the last board meeting, the executive committee has been discussing for a couple of months. We just brought information to the full board at the last meeting, just regarding our predominantly recyclable waste and recycled materials management hauling. And based on the potential rebates that are out there, there's been interest expressed. And seeing if it's possible for the district to collect number one and number two plastics separately. Because there's value in that material, but it has to be pre-sorted. So it's something we're going to look at. Bill Goins was at that meeting and said Rumpke would be willing to potentially to do an audit of plastics that are collected. I've also spoken with Republic Services. They're I guess they're not in a position to perform the audit themselves, but they have space available at the transfer station that if we wanted to hire somebody or have our staff volunteers to do an audit of those plastic compactor boxes. have the space available, would make that available. So, so auditing, that's probably something that we're gonna do to give us an idea of, you know, what kind of volume of number one and number two is currently collecting in the commingled plastic stream. Give us a better idea of being able to look at doing some cost benefit analysis. Because to collect it separately would mean we would have to have additional space, put additional compactor boxes in at all the recycling centers. And for a couple of them, space is kind of at a premium. So there's certainly some logistics involved. But it's something that we're going to look at doing.
What's the difference between 1 and 2? Off the top of your head.
One is PET, P-E-T. Polyethylene tetraphthalene or something like that.
Terephthalate.
Huh?
Terephthalate.
Terathaline.
Terephthalene.
Number two, I forget. I mean, it has to do with the chemical.
The chemical
composition and how
compound.
it's bonded
Has
together.
nothing to do with colors.
It's strictly the resin that's used and then how it is molded together, because some of it is a heat process, some is a chemical process, you know, and those are all things that go into determining the number. It's the resin and
All right.
and how it's manufactured.
Do you know if the end users for these plastics, they grind them up in little balls, or do they just heat them and melt them into sheets?
That would probably depend on the mill that it would be going to and
Okay.
what their buyers are looking for. I'm far into looking at, you know, if we get to the point that we're considering, you know, that it's feasible for us to do it and we're considering doing it, you know, then we would look more at, you know, what's the end game to doing that.
All right.
So. As much as it scares me to say it, we've already started thinking about the 2025 budget process. Middle of March. Our new accounting software is scheduled to be installed in mid-April. Kathy and I are, Kathy Martin, our controller, and I are looking forward to that. Some nerves with that. Obviously, it's something new, but they're supposed to be down the week of April the 8th to install everything and give us and do some mock runs, train us, and then be on site the beginning of the following week. Says payroll claims. But it's exciting. It is a little nerve wracking, but it's exciting. And the CNNI did also a couple of non-specific things, but related, that I announced at the board meeting. Circular Indiana is looking to host an event in Bloomington. I think May 14th tentatively, depending on venue availability and stuff. They did a similar event in Fort Wayne in February. And for those that don't know, Circular Indiana used to be the Indiana Recycling Coalition. And a few years ago, they kind of rebranded and changed focus to a little bit beyond just recycling and promoting the circular economy that recycling is a huge part of, where instead of using virgin materials and instead of taking things that have potential value and disposing of them, we recycle them through the economy and create new products and new jobs and all of that. So, so they're trying to get themselves a little more exposure and become a little more prominent in the circular economy in Indiana and promoting that. So they're trying to stage events throughout the state to bring the recycling industry and businesses together and do things to promote that. So kind of looking forward to that. And then also The annual Association of Solid Waste Districts Conference will be in Bloomington this year in October. For us, hopefully, that means we can get a little better attendance. I think historically, the CAC has sent one, maybe two people because it involved travel and such, so.
How much travel would that be this year?
Huh?
How much travel would that be this year? From your doorstep to that one.
It's gonna be at the Graduate Hotel. Hopefully we have some more people available that could attend that. That's all I can think of, all I have prepared, so if we have any questions. Any additional?
What's the general consensus been on the new schedule of the items? Has there been much feedback?
The majority of it has been positive. I'm going to say there's not been any negative comments about it. But the majority of it has been positive, that even though, depending on when people have things to get rid of, sometimes it maybe creates a little inconvenience, but most people have said it's a much easier schedule to figure out.
I agree with that.
And additionally, we did create some new signs that are posted at all the sites that have, the calendar year monthly rotation listed on it.
How's it going for tires?
It's fine. I mean, it's been pretty consistent. The tire numbers never achieved a level that I anticipated when we first started taking them,
Okay.
but the volume, the volume has been pretty consistent, on a week to week, month to month basis is what we've been taking in.
Is there any pattern to what they're bringing? Are they 50-year-old tires, packed with mud, or?
I mean, not that we don't get those.
Yeah.
The majority of them are newer, for lack of a better term, tires. 15 to 20% of them are on the rim.
Okay.
Um,
And we're taking them off the rim?
no, our vendor, we use Liberty Tire, cycling services, but they do transportation as well.
Okay.
That's who we use,
All right.
take care of the tires that we collect.
I had a question. You mentioned the budget. I know there's 50,000 in the budget for organic food waste purposes. Is there any limitation on what that can be used for? I'm asking specifically because the meeting with Porter County, could that be used to pay somebody to do pickups or something like that?
Well, I mean, ultimately, that is the board's call, but I mean, it was that appropriation, was put in with the idea that it would be used for that. There is legally nothing.
Okay.
I could spend it on tires if, the board might say something, but legally there's nothing wrong with that. Because that was done at the request of the board, I would vet through the board any potential expenditures, of those funds. I think, I think that, I apologize, and I don't know if we had anything on the agenda related to the Organics Waste Task Force. I guess I'll go ahead and update on that since I'm got the floor. The Organics Waste Task Force has had 3 meetings now. The first 2 meetings were really more organizational and trying to, set goals and what are we trying to do? Just lay all that out. And so it's Matt, Joe, and myself, as well as Jeff McKim and Lee Jones from the board, the original task force members. We've since invited a representative from the city's Office of Sustainable and Economic Development, and Kaylin Lynch. Kaylin Lynch. So is now a member of that task force as well. And then at the most recent meeting, we had 2 representatives from the Porter County Recycling and Waste Reduction District came and presented on a composting pilot that they've been doing. And that they seem to be real pleased with and think that it's successful. It's meeting the goals that they set for it, potentially looking to expand it. But what it is they're, they're, what they say, 12 to 15 households, they have participating right now where they're taking, the food waste from, and I think they have one of the participants offered to do it on their property where they've set up the composting of that. They're intentionally keeping it small so that it's under the threshold that item has set that requires registration or permitting. And they have an employee that runs a collection route for those 15 residences. I think that's what Matt was referring to. That's something that, and I think that if we set up a similar program, those funds could certainly be put towards something like that. On a pilot basis. I think, we have to be cognizant of the fact that that's an appropriation that's available this year. No guarantees that would be an annual, we'd have the ability to put any money toward that in future years.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions? Any special committees reports?
Oh, that's the only one.
That's the only one. All right. New business. New business. Sorry, guys, this is my first time.
Oh, you're doing great.
I have some new business, I guess.
Okay.
Unfinished business.
Oh, unfinished business.
Yes.
Sorry.
I'll go do your unfinished business.
Is there any unfinished business?
Yes, I mean, it's the CAC bylaws. Let's see. Do I have screen sharing abilities? It looks like I might not. Basically, at the January meeting, we talked about our revision to the bylaws, particularly pertaining to the change of the district's name, and with also a few other small points. I brought those to the board at the January board meeting. There were a couple of Scribner's recommendations and corrections. So I was just going to quick show those. And this was,
I don't.
Joe, if that's you, you have presenter permissions now. You can share your screen.
yeah, I see that it just
Thank
came
you,
up.
Greg.
Thank you very much. And that should be coming up. There it is. So hopefully this is adequate. So this is just not red, but a revision or a version changes to the bylaws, including the name as the first two items.
You got that, Matt?
The other recommendation that was made was just specifying with respect to officer eligibility to holding no more than one office on this committee. So I added that to the officer section, Article 4. And then this is just as we had proposed at the first reading, which is about confirming the meeting dates. And then there's a correction too. This was a 2-point E's. So the second E is now an F. It should be another adjustment made since the first reading. And then also corrected a 0 that should have been a parenthesis. So that said, I'll move that we approve the amendments to the bylaws as presented.
That's excellent.
All right.
Like a vote?
Yes. Don't have any virtual attendance.
Now, voice vote. Can I hear eyes saying, yes, we are approving the changes to the bylaws as presented?
Aye.
Aye.
Are there any nays? None. The ayes have it. The bylaws have been, changes have been approved.
I will update the copy that's on Dropbox.
Sure. Thank you. All right, any other unfinished business or general? New business.
And also at the last board meeting, or I'm sorry, it was the last executive committee meeting. some of the committee members expressed an interest in coming out to see the land. Been a number of years since they've been out. So we are going to look at trying to organize, arrange for the CAC members, if anyone is interested, to come out and look at the landfill. There's a whole lot to see right now, but well, I take that back. There potentially is. But look for a doodle poll or something to come out with proposed dates to do that. Possibly looking at the second or third week of April.
How about April 1st so we can ski down that Easter snow that we get?
Why not? We could do it during the eclipse. No, but if nobody has heard, been talked about the past couple of board meetings, I think, but Lee Paulson has a reforestation project going on property that he owns just south of the landfill, south of Anderson Road, Shiloh Road. They got about 8,800 trees, and I believe they anticipate the beginning of April being able to go pick those up. And so if that all happens, I might try to coordinate doing a tour while they're out there planting those trees.
Were they going to use those trees for transplant purposes elsewhere? You know, as it needs thinned out? You know?
No, he worked with Edward Ullman from the Purdue Extension Services.
Yes.
He happens to be just down the hall. But he is, this is part of what he does. Purdue, so he helped Lee with, identifying the types of trees that we would want, given that it's in a floodplain. They also went out and looked at the types of animals, birds they see in the area, and what trees would be conducive to habitats for them. And then the number, based on Edward's experience in doing this in other places, with how many are going to get eaten, how many just are going to make it through attrition. So that's how he arrived at that number, and we purchased ordered the seedling. State.
Okay. Well, what I have noticed about that, it doesn't seem to flood as much now with all those trees soaking up all that water that gets in that place.
No, it doesn't, but it is still identified by the government.
So
Local
here's
as a floodplain.
here's another thing of government working well.
Well, I don't know what's happened downstream, but it's Bean Blossom Creek doesn't overflow the banks as often as it
Right.
used to.
And I think that's a direct result of having so many trees in there.
It could be.
Trees drink a lot of water. They do.
But this is one of Edward's specialties. That's why we reached out to him, asked for his help to do that. And he and Purdue have been very gracious with his time to help us with.
Have you noticed any runoff problems from dump site, the landfill site, being mitigated by having those trees over there? That's something I've wondered about for quite a while.
Well, we haven't put any new trees in. This will be the first time that we have planted trees like this, in that area. Previously, and it's been 10 years or so, we used to have a lot of runoff problems because the Dixon Ditch, the ditch segment that runs off of the landfill under Anderson Road down to Blossom Creek, had a substantial beaver population.
Yes.
And, it took us a long time and a lot of effort to continuously dig dams out. And we started cutting trees back from the ditch till we got far enough that they didn't build there anymore because the building material was too far away. And that's also one of the things I think that prompted Lee to think about reforestation was because we had taken a number of trees down. But since the beavers quit building dams there, we have not had runoff. And I might also note that Anderson Road doesn't flood anymore.
No. I mean, the last time I was out there when it was high water, it's been just about a year. But you could still see the bottom of the road and drive through it. Well, that would be the top of the road, wouldn't it?
There were times where that water was 3 to 4 feet deep at the Anderson Road.
Oh, yeah.
Landfill.
Yeah. It's just some of the stuff that I've noticed, having been out and about out there, picking people up, delivering people and the trees, watching them grow and seeing the difference in the floodwaters.
If I may ask, has there been consideration for the potential return of beaver populations with reforestation?
We're not,
Different area.
where we're planting, it's not
Okay.
close to the stormwater.
Got it.
It's
The beaver are still fairly active over on Shiloh Road on the east side.
You know that because you,
Because I've seen the cheese where they're gnawing them down.
gotcha. You're an observant man. I appreciate the insight. I didn't know that that's where the conversation was gonna go.
Yeah.
So that's really cool. Any other new business?
I do want to propose, seems pertinent, particularly given the email from earlier this afternoon, question about the attendance planning. I know it's been historically an expectation. I was one of the people who was remiss in not filling it out prior to this meeting, and so there were only, I think, you were the only one who was, scheduled to submitted as attending. So I know I had mentioned probably in December of last year, something, the idea about the utility of it, and just thought it would be a good opportunity to get an idea of what everyone thinks about it.
Well, I just replied to the email that, yeah, I'd be here.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's whatever is easy.
I'm open to.
I mean, the benefit of it, if you are receiving email notifications, the goal was just to know, or just to be able to confirm if there would be a quorum as to hold the meeting.
Gotcha.
So it looked as though nobody was going to be here, which is why I sent the email wondering if there would still be a meeting. But I mean, if it's not of value to you, then we continue the process.
I didn't reply all, I just replied to Matt.
Right, which is why others weren't aware.
Yes,
Would not be coming.
I should have replied all.
I mean, that's fine, because Matt's.
Good idea.
I just want to offer up that, and not specific to the CAC or this meeting, but in general, if we do this with board and executive committee meetings, that, you know, if we know in advance that we're not going to have, or the meeting's not going to occur, you know, we have to take into consideration that, you know, County Tech Services runs the Teams meetings. So they have somebody staying late to monitor, manage this meeting right now. The county maintenance department is responsible for making sure that the rooms are open and available, buildings are unlocked. So, you know, there are other people impacted, whose schedule is impacted if we don't have a meeting and don't notify them in advance.
Right. But as long as you have answers via email and
Right.
you know that it will be held, I think that's the important part, right?
I mean, I guess I would be the one making those notifications to the other affected parties. So, and if I don't hear anything, my assumption is that the meeting is happening.
Yeah, for me, it's, I'll just send out an email checking with everybody and just respond that way. That's the easiest for me.
Because I was gonna say alternatively, we could switch to a notify if you are not planning on attending. So that way the assumption is you will be here all the time. Notify the chair if you're not attending.
That's what I would
That might be easier.
Okay.
prefer.
So in that case, I would move that we alter our attendance planning methodology from always indicating attendance methods to notifying the chair when you know you are not able to attend.
Second.
All right. We have a vote on this now.
Yes, so well, the next would be, is there any discussion?
Is there any discussion?
We've already-
I guess just ideally, what would be the time frame we need to know that to notify the groups that Tom's referring to?
As early as possible, but probably at least a day in advance.
Okay.
Yeah, usually, at least historically, for what it's worth, I have done it at the time that the agenda is distributed, which is usually the Monday before the meeting.
Mhm.
Because that was when we had set our like reply deadline. So we could maintain that same deadline if, I think it's 48 hours is what the,
I think that, yeah, when you started the attendance tracking spreadsheet.
Yeah. So maybe I'll amend the motion such that there's a 48-hour deadline for notification.
And I'll second the amendment.
Okay, any discussion? Then we will take a voice vote
On the amendment.
on the amendment.
Yes.
Okay, I hear can I please hear yays for the amendment of the
48 hours.
48 hours.
Yeah. 48-hour edition.
Thank you for the help.
So yes.
Yes.
Aye.
Yes.
Any nays? Ayes taken.
All right.
Yeah.
So back to the motion, main motion.
Back to the main motion.
Back on the main motion, we will take a vote on the main motion.
Discussion still on the
Oh,
main motion.
just any other discussion on the main motion?
So I guess if you're gonna be in attendance via Zoom, you just email that to Matt that you're.
Yeah, that's because, and unfortunately, that does matter because under the open door law, you have to have quorum physically in the room for the meeting to officially occur.
That's right. Yeah, you had mentioned that. I brought it up as well.
Let's see, how many do we have altogether?
6.
That's it.
So we need 4 in person.
But I think it is, it doesn't, the law doesn't say quorum, but I think it says 51%.
I thought it was 50% in person, and then you have to have at least one, you have to have like a 50% in-person attendance, but you can have a quorum with 1 virtual attendance at 50%. So we could do 1 person virtual and 3 person physically present. If I recall correctly. But to your point, that would then be a notification of absence or virtual attendance, right? Would probably cover all of the bases. So if you say nothing, if you're planning on attending in person, notification if it's virtual or absent.
We're not attending.
That would be absent. Yes. Yes, I think, is there anything that doesn't cover before I make another motion to amend? Because those are both good.
I think those are 3 options. Either in person or absent.
Which is what we've actually done before anyway.
Correct.
It is 50%, so 3 and 1. I will verify with legal counsel, but it does appear that 3 and 1 virtual would give you
Okay,
Quorum.
so in that case, I'll make one more amendment to include notification of virtual attendance or absence.
All right, second. So now we're gonna vote on the amendment of the amendment.
No, just the amendment to the original motion.
The amendment to the original motion.
Correct.
Now hear the yays.
I,
Aye.
Aye.
Yay.
And we may hear the nays. Hearing none, the amendment passes.
okay,
And now for the rule.
The main motion.
Okay, back to the main motion. Is there any more discussion on the main motion? Hearing none, we will have a voice vote. Main motion. Hear the yeas. Ayes.
Aye. All opposed.
All opposed. Thank you for the help.
All right.
Hearing none, motion carries.
After all that, I would say that, not, yeah, we can cancel meetings ahead of time. That's recognize things happen. Sure. Something happens at the last minute, you can't make it.
I will also update the attendance planning doc in Crossix. So that reflects those things, or the guidance, I should say. I think it describes the previous way of operating.
Any other new business? Okay. Public comments. Each member of the public will have 1 minute to speak. Please indicate your desire to comment by using the raise hand function in Zoom or by typing into the chat. You'll be called in the order that your request is received. Maybe online.
I see no members of this.
Okay, reminders, next regular meeting is Thursday, April 18th at 5:30 p.m. Showers Building North, room 100B. There's no objection. This meeting will adjourn. Seeing none, this meeting is adjourned.
Great job, man.
Yes. You didn't study Robert's Rules of Order in FFA in junior high, did you?